Welcome back, everyone. We have an exciting session upcoming right here, right now. I hope you are ready to talk about co-working and digital nomadism. When we discussed the pandemic and coronavirus, of course, digital nomads, most of them flew back to their home places. So this has a pretty big impact for co-working spaces who were in those regions. And we thought that putting together a panel on the topic would probably help other co-working spaces that might be concerned or even digital nomads interested in those regions to learn more about what's coming next and what the future looks like. I'm really excited about the 4 people that will be on this panel. And actually, for a change, I am not going to be the MC. So we are going to make almost a world tour. We are going to welcome people from Thailand, Portugal, India, and France. We are first going to welcome the spaces that are going to talk, and then I will welcome the moderator. So let's make our way to Porto to welcome Ruba. Hi, Ruba.
Hi. Hi,
how are you? I'm gonna welcome the others, so let's make our way to...
How are you?
Good, there is a small delay, I think. I'm just gonna make my way to Goa to welcome Mayur. Hey, Mayur. Are you also around? Yes, you are.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
oh, nice background as well. And last we are gonna... That's really cool. I love the flowers. And let's also welcome Moe into the room. Hi, Moe.
Hi, everyone.
We saw you earlier during the virtual co-working, but I think you couldn't see us, so everybody was waving.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. Thank you again for showing us the virtual co-working.
Yeah, it's from the Japan virtual co-working platform, so everyone are welcome. I will be there in the middle of the night.
And I think people also had lots of questions on it. Let's also welcome Sara from Hacker Paradise, who will be taking care of you guys. Hey, Sara.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. It's a sunny day here in France.
Yeah, same. I'm really excited for this panel to begin. So I will let you take over, Sara, and I'll come back in the end to share some questions if the audience has some for you guys. Enjoy the panel.
See you soon.
See
you.
Hello, guys. So first things first, let's start with the introduction about yourself and your co-working space. Who wants to start? Ruba? You go first.
Hey. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So hi, everyone. My name is Ruba. I live in Porto, and I'm based in Porto. We have 5 beautiful co-working spaces across town. And I was glad for the last 4 years to be growing this business. Porto was opened back in 2014. And I think why we are on this panel is that with our second location being open, that has amazing views over the river and the central Porto, we had a massive amount of digital nomads coming our way. And I think that was a very big boost of, in general, digital nomads coming to Porto. So we're really happy to be like opening our doors and being like first welcomers. So yeah, that's shortly our story.
Awesome. Who goes next? Mayur, do you want to tell us about Goa in India?
Yeah, so I'm here on this panel because I run a co-working space in Goa, in India. I started my digital nomad journey back in 2014. I built and managed remote teams. And when I was traveling and living in Southeast Asia, I felt like India has a great potential to be a digital nomad hub, but it was not happening. So I said, okay, let me just do something. So I started Remote Explorers to run retreats for digital nomads. But then while running the retreats, I realized that it's so painful to set up pop-up co-working spaces and stuff every time you want to run a retreat. So I said, okay, let me start my own space. And that's how Nomad Gao started. And yeah, looking forward to share some insights and get something new, learn something new from this panel. Thank you.
Awesome. Moe, your turn.
Yeah. My name is Moe. I'm Japanese. I live in this small island Koh Tao in Thailand since 10 years ago. And I'm also graphic designer for Japanese small businesses. So I started to live in this island, doing my design job. And when I moved to Bali, I found the co-working space in Ubud. And I just tried to open a co-working space in Thailand, Koh Tao, small island. And also I plan to open co-living space in Japan, countryside. Plan was from April, and I did a test opening 4 months last year. It was quite nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to go back to Japan, countryside with some nomado who I know well. Yeah. And yeah, we need to avoid the COVID situation.
That's amazing. I love how we just did a tour of the world in 3 minutes. And just 2 words about me. I'm Sara, originally from Italy, now stuck in France. I run the operations at Hacker Paradise, and we are a community of digital nomads and remote workers. So we facilitate trips all around the world. And yeah, so let's start with some questions. First, is your space open right now? If yes, how is it? What did change compared to 3 months ago? Who starts? Ruba, you go first again.
I can start. So we didn't have to close the spaces in Porto or Portugal, just simply because co-working spaces don't fall under any laws of COVID. But I know that majority of spaces in Porto, including ours, who were closed. Since we are 24/7 spaces, we had a choice to just leave available a few spots for people who didn't have very good internet connection and would lose their jobs if we weren't open for them. So they basically had a private office for themselves during those few months. But we, of course, were closed for any visits or anything. Operations stopped. Yeah, and we reopened on May 11th with all the new measures and security, etc. And we are slowly picking up. Next month, we will open our doors for newcomers.
Oh, that's amazing. It's time for me to look for trains to get to Portugal.
Absolutely.
How is it in Thailand, Mo?
Yeah, my space is a small island in Koh Tao. We locked down over months until 20th, and we slowly opened other island station. But we have so many expats here. So as TAO HUB co-working space, we have over 10 people, around over 10 people. We are so happy being here in this in this time. We can go to beach, we can go snorkeling sometimes, and yeah, we are open for the family members.
Amazing. And how is it in Goa, Mayur?
Yeah, so we are in a lockdown for over 2 months now. It started somewhere around end of March and expected to continue till mid-June. Co-working spaces are, they allowed co-working spaces to open a couple of weeks ago. But then we are not running at a full capacity. We were closed for almost 1.5 months. But then because we also have co-living, so there are a couple of people who are staying with us, who are happily stuck in Goa instead of going back to US. So they're here and they have been working from here. Now we are getting a lot of inquiries because a lot of companies are going remote temporarily at least, and nobody has good internet in Goa except us. So
it's good. That's very good. So as we said, your co-working are in 3 very different geographies, and I know we don't really have answers about what is gonna happen in the upcoming months, but like, when do you think nomads, like tourism in general, is gonna be allowed again in your country? And like, how do you think it's gonna happen? Is it gonna be like from one day to another, everyone is gonna be traveling, or like, are you gonna welcome nomads? Are you gonna keep only welcoming new members or former members? How do you see the next few months?
I can start. So Porto and in general Portugal has done a very great job, I'd say, in terms of launching once again airplanes, and there are more and more airlines picking up, and Porto is becoming again the destination to go, being positioned as a safe country with all the measures to come over summer. So there are already flights we can see in the sky, which is a positive change, even though I really enjoyed empty sky for these months. But as for digital nomads, of course, we are waiting for them. They are a significant part of our community, especially during summer, because we have a peak starting from like April to October here in Portugal. And yeah, we've been receiving already some questions from people from abroad. How is Porto? How is Portugal? What are our measures in the coworking space? Do we accept? And being kind of an advocate for the nomads about what is actually happening in the country. Yeah, we are ready to welcome them, of course. The doors are open. I think most important is to make everyone in the community feel safe, whether it's a nomad coming or a local, but everyone is welcome, because a person can arrive from Italy and we can't just say, okay, so just because you are from there, we're not going to let you in. But no, a person that goes to the beach in Porto can get exact same. So it's a bit of we are in our own game. We invent the rules, and our rules is everyone is welcome as long as everyone is respectful for the new rules we have at play.
That's great to hear. That's good, awesome. What do you think, Mayur and Moe?
Yeah, so you know, the domestic flights have started in India, but then it almost looks like spaceships running around with. I've seen some pictures of people on those flights, and it doesn't look great at all.
Yeah.
And so I feel for domestic tourism to start getting to normal, it will take at least a couple of months, and then we have monsoon coming, so 3 more months, and I feel that October is when at least the domestic part will start getting to normalcy. In terms of international nomads, I'm not sure if it will happen this year in India, at least. It will be next year, and then I expect the flights to be very expensive, especially the long distance one, because they have to keep seats empty, and then there is so much protocol at the airports. Lucky me that I'm in a market where there are more than 1 billion people, so till then it's just domestic for us.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of the questions that we're gonna discuss more later, but that's definitely something I'm interested in, about like shifting the company strategy to adapt to the new situation. But I guess we can go there a little bit later. And what about Thailand? I know their domestic flights are back on. Do you expect many expats who got stuck in Bangkok to arrive in Koh Tao, or how do you see things? I have a couple of friends who were stuck there, so I can send them your way.
Bangkok? I'm not sure if the people stuck in Bangkok, how much they're happy, but I can say like that we are on the tropical island. It's great marketing only on photo and YouTube, and everyone just dreaming about to come to the tropical island. Then you can just be in the relaxed life, which we really doing here. And also the cost for leave, and so many reasons. And this time, Thailand give the free visa until the end of the July for everyone. So now we are okay to stay until end of July. And then also we have kind of website news, but it's never be sure until the last minute. The border gonna open 1st July or not. But we don't know until that last minute always. But once we open the border, I think so many people missing Thailand. Like we are so chill and care each other and great food, great vibe. So it's we less from Europe in summertime, but I trust before the winter they come out again because it's always happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully till then the situation calm down and maybe they come more longer period, like or if someone come 2 weeks, they may have like remote jobs 3-4 months this year because of like people used to be working as remote.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah, for sure.
Our island is diving industry, but I don't have much hope to like for the diving industry, like just tourist place. They're gonna get back same before, but as nomado and a long stayer, yeah, I still having hope. Or I think like a nomado population gets so high in this moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Again, finger crossed. And tell me, your space is always welcome nomads. So I'm curious, are you in touch with your nomad co-workers? What are they saying? Like, are they ready to jump back on traveling and visit you as soon as they can? Or are they more like calm, like waiting to see what's happening? Like, what's the general vibe among your nomad members?
For my space, not much people contact me to jump to Koh. Maybe the airplane station is not really solved, and island is more chill than the mainland. So we got someone come back from Koh Samui, Topanga, and it's just the island beside. They couldn't move, and now we open like the boat and minimum boat start to run, so they come back to Koh, few of them. But from outside of Thailand or maybe Bangkok, people start to think to come down soon. Yeah.
Yeah, you should focus your marketing efforts on targeting people in Bangkok. I'm sure there are plenty who are ready to come to the beach.
We need to be careful for the safety and secure and how situation going. So I'm not ready to like a big opening, like everyone welcome to TAO HUB, because we can keep opening because we have only family member around 10 people. So we need to be slow and we still need to keep safe. For
for sure. Yeah. And what about your members, Ruba? I know your nomad community is pretty active.
Yes, they are. What we've been doing, like in the last few months, we've kept our community active online, and it was really a big pleasure for me to see all those nomads that were coming to us in the last years actually being more active and like, hey guys, I miss you. How is Porto doing? That was incredible. Of course, our nomads, because they are nomads, they're not in Porto right now. They once in March, the situation starts to become more and more complicated. The nomads that were in Porto, they took their last chance and flew back to their countries. So because for everyone, it's a big uncertainty and they had to basically fly back home. At the moment, we have a lot of expats in the community or very slow travelers. Also, we have people like that decided to actually stay. We have interesting things. So nomads come to us thinking that they're going to stay for a month. They end up staying years.
Yeah.
I was a very big example of that. I wasn't a nomad, but I arrived to Porto from Russia, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here 6 months. It's been 5 years, so I understand them. It's an amazing country to stay. So we are trying to always support people that actually want to stay. And I don't count them as nomads anymore. I don't give this label to people because it's people that are in love with Portugal. And for me, it's much more than just, okay, they're nomads. That's what I cherish a lot, I think, about our community. This common value of love towards Portugal and sharing the same values, because once you stay here, you stay for common reasons. There's like a filter of people that stay, and if they land in Porto, it's even better.
Yeah, for sure. And you said there are not many nomads left, but are there nomads who've been there in the past that are reaching out to you, that are eager to come back soon? Or
yeah, so we are a new space. We started in November last year. So the community is pretty small and well connected. So I keep talking to those who lived here in the past. We are actually thinking of changing the name, removing nomad and just making it Gao, because as Ruba said, most of the people come here for a month and end up being 3 months. Like those who came in November, they ended up staying till February and so on. And now that the international flights are not operating, there are a couple of members sitting right behind me. They're here for 4 months now. In terms of past members coming back, I think most of the people are not in position to make travel decisions, especially the long distance ones right now. They want to be close to their families, close to their, friends, and just make sure they take it easy. I also ran a survey around this in digital nomads around the world. So most people, going forward, most people would prefer to travel shorter distances, at least next couple of years. And if they, travel longer distances, it will be for longer periods.
Longer periods,
yeah. So I feel we'll only start to see traction when the flights start operating.
That is gonna be how many people will take decisions, how flights are gonna look like, and
exactly how expensive they are going to be.
And in general, like now we talked specifically about your co-working spaces, but are you in touch with other local co-working spaces in your cities or in your country? Like, how are the others doing? Like, do you think like some maybe are gonna close? Do you think it's gonna be like a different market after this COVID era? How are things going for the others? Like, what's the general vibe among co-working spaces in your countries?
I would love to share here. So in Porto, it was very like spontaneous thing happening. Just one space talking to another, and then to another. We created this group of few co-working spaces in Porto, and it was the beginning was like just supporting each other through the hard times, as we would actually do before. But once COVID happened, we were like, okay, that's really the time, because no one else will understand your pains and gains as much as other co-working space. Exactly. And it became a very nice initiative in the end, and it turned out to have its results in actually physical representation of the measures we agreed upon as forming like a safe Porto co-working image for actually audience around us, telling people that it's safe to go to co-working spaces. We've prepared everything that you might wish for or you might be scared of. We got you covered, and we're going to be launching it in the upcoming weeks. It's really exciting, and it felt really like, okay, I have a support, I'm not alone here. But at the same time, for the last 4 years, our team of Porto has been running a national conference. Actually, it's quite international. Cowork Buzz. And people were reaching to me during this month, like, okay, how are you? And we were reaching out to other spaces to see how we can support. This was really nice, and this is an initiative I think that should be replicated in any country. Like, I know Spain has very active community. Yeah, that's that. Because if not now we stand together, then when? And especially I've been following this UK initiative of there's a petition going on of keeping the co-working spaces alive. Because if for now, for example, in Portugal, we've had 3 months of help from state for HR expenses, for, well, the rentals was a bit of a disaster, but but at the end of the day, what's going to matter is now, the upcoming months, how our community is going to react. Are they going to come back? Because we won't have the support of government anymore. So the upcoming 6 months are going to be the hardest, actually, for the co-working spaces, at least in Portugal, but I bet for anyone else. And I just wish really staying strong to all the managers, to all the founders, because we need to go through this.
Yeah, for sure. And you, Mayur, you say you're the only one in Goa, but are you in touch with other co-working spaces owners in the rest of India? How is it there?
So there are other co-working spaces, but there is no co-working, co-living, and we have the best internet. But then I'm sort of bringing them together to see what we can do together, how we can survive. I just before the panel discussion, I visited one of the other co-working spaces, had a chat with the founder, just made sure that he's okay, and he has somebody who he can talk to. So yeah, it's going to be a little hard, especially for the pure play co-working spaces, because when you have co-living with it, you can at least derive some revenues from the rooms. But with co-working, the whole economics of co-working has changed, right? Because now you need to calculate your revenues or number of seats based on maybe considering the social distancing in mind and all. So it's a hard time for next few months, but we are together in this.
Yeah, that's for sure. And in Thailand, in Koh Tao, are there other co-working spaces, Moe? How is it there?
No, we are only one co-working
We are the only ones, right? Yeah.
And next time in Kopangan, there is a few. Maybe they work or not. And then there is so many co-working space in Thailand, but if Nomado is like a focus to the Nomado, focus to the local, it's like something so different. And to be honest, myself, I'm keep busying myself to connect the co-working space in Japan. So I'm keep working for the co-working spaces in Japan. So I don't really contact with the people in Thailand in these days since Corona. I feel like, oh yeah, I need to contact them. So the situation for the Thailand and so on, we work with the locals government more like it's depend on the province. So even if I talk with the Chiang Mai people, Suratani, which we are where we are, that it's so different, any state unit so different. So we try to focus to talking with the government, small like island government people, and we try to give more information to our members, which I keep doing, but it's not really talking about like a business wise with the other working owners. Maybe I will try. But I keep talking to the Japanese people last month.
Oh, that's great. And Mayur, you mentioned a very, very important topic in this context, the social distancing. So how are you guys planning on adapting the space, and especially like we know that community is the core of co-working, and like, how are you going to keep cultivating the community and the serendipity in the co-working with social distancing? I remember I used to run a co-working space in Belgium, and on Fridays we were having these big lunches where we were all squeezing next to each other on the table, and like this is not going to be possible anymore. And I just joined a co-working space this week, and they can only have 20 members per time. Basically, in one desk, we can only sit like 2 people, and we're like it's a different vibe. So I'm curious to know, how are you organizing the space, and especially from a community point of view, what are the initiatives that you are taking to keep fostering the relationships among your members?
Yeah. So, in terms of number of seats that I can sell in co-working, there is definitely a drop. So I'm focusing more on, having resident members and talking to them one-on-one to kind of build personal relations. And then, eventually that will end up, I like to connect people. So if I see someone bringing in something and somebody needing something, I connect both of them. So far it's been that way. It's been me being the point of contact for people, and then they are connecting with each other. But as the community grows, yes, there will be challenges with social distancing. We'll probably, have to shout out loud from a distance. We cannot really.
Yeah.
And then perhaps sit for community lunches 6 feet away from each other. So yeah, it's gonna be challenging. We are still figuring out how to go about all of that. Let's see how it goes.
Keep us posted. What about for you girls? Who wants to go first?
Okay. Our co-working space is not huge, like somewhere in Bali or like 100 people. Like we are more style, around like a 10 to 20. I don't know, even before Corona, we are like over 30 or not. So we have enough space, and I extend the garden. Like normally I do the online meeting from the garden, like behind the nature, and more space is open air. It's not even inside of air condition. Then the problem is like the party, dinner party we used to have every week. Like even like we invite people from outside and we cook together, and it's easy to be more crowd. But we stopped, and then our community building, it's just like they come to drink morning coffee from morning until before they sleep. They stay here like a co-living. So how we take care, how we build a community, it's just like a co-living home. I trust this style is more like a grow up to the other locations as well, because people need to stay one place, and they really need a deep community which you really trust. And we don't really get like a new members, it's just drop in often. So yeah, how we build a community, maybe it's the same as before, but it's just get more smaller, and we don't mix with the outsiders. Before I try to mix with the outsider as much as I can and make big party, but we just stop there. I don't know, but I don't think they have some like of course we want to get a big party on the beach or something, but we need to wait.
I think that is very hard to do, honestly. It's a very hard job not to have a party on the beach when you're living on the beach.
Yeah. You have people on you, or I don't know.
Well,
no, I want to be in Thailand on a beach.
Yeah, but we are one of the party island, I think so.
I think everyone who is hearing you now is very jealous. because you're on an island. You're on an island. We are in the houses, in the boxes.
Yeah.
However,
I am going to the beach.
Yeah,
good.
go out over to the Miss party as well, maybe.
Well, to be fairly honest, I can't really complain much. I see the sea from my window right now, so it's not bad living in Porto. But for us, the middle ground was actually common sense. So what did we do? First of all, we were really following the news from the government. What are the updates? What are the restrictions? What are the measures do we have to do? Honestly, we don't have to do anything because, again, co-working spaces don't fall under paper written by government, for good and the bad, honestly. So how did we actually narrow down all the ideas? Is by asking our community what will make them feel safe. Simple survey and one-on-one talks followed up. So what are the measures they think should be applied in the spaces, because the spaces are for them. We are just managing and nurturing the communities, but it's them that should feel safe to come back.
For sure.
For instance, like if you see the results, they were so like as if it was one voice talking what should happen, plus minus few people, of course. And it was kind of a proof of concept for what we were planning to do in the first place. There's nothing extraordinary. I think it's the measures that everyone around the world will be implementing. So stuff like extra hand sanitizers, all this gel around, all possible different liquids of how to, and tutorials, how to disinfect your space, how to disinfect your desk, all the new house rules in place. Of course, we're not running any events right now. We put quite some strict rules, especially once we are going in the space and we are testing how is it going to be. And for us, the first months are really crucial to understand the experience of people inside of the space, because at the end of the day, I want people to feel comfortable and don't be like all freaking out about the germs around, right? Because this is not a healthy environment. Because co-working is a continuation of the house. And I'm very strict with the idea of like, there is no social distancing in a co-working space. There's just physical distancing needed, because then the whole concept of co-working space falls short.
Yeah.
So social distancing is a no-go. Physical, it is.
Yeah, for sure. And like talking about the safety, and of course, members needs to feel safe. So do you think that the co-working spaces are going to become more and more relevant, especially like compared to like coffee shops? Like in my mind, I would see a co-working space as such a much safer place compared to a coffee shop. And I know that in cities like Porto, you actually suffered of a competition with coffee places because it's so easy. You just plug in your laptop. Everyone has Wi-Fi. So I know there was a trend. It was seeing more and more people joining joining cafes instead of co-working space. Do you think people are gonna come back to the co-working? How do you see this trend going?
We definitely do count on that in Porto, and at Porto specifically, because I do think personally co-working space is safer than restaurants, even though as a person, I need to go to restaurants and support them as well. Otherwise, we're all gonna just fall short. But on the other hand, for those who are working from cafes, I think it's not going to be a go-to place in the near future. We had visits just this week, even not a nomad. It's a local that has a full-time job, but he used to go to cafes for his side project. So he reached out to us to have this flexible membership, like dropping by a few days a week. Mm-hmm. And I feel for the nomads, it's just going to be the place to go. Or as well, the competition will become the Airbnbs, of course, as it used to be. But hey, there's always the problems with internet. Oh my God, my internet is down. I need the co-working space.
So can I jump in?
Please go ahead.
So I feel choice to work from cafe or co-working spaces is more about lifestyle than safety, right? Because some people like that social atmosphere of co-working spaces. They like to collaborate with others. Some people, no matter what, they'll continue working from cafes. I have few friends who would never go to a co-working space. So I think it's, co-working spaces will definitely thrive as more people switch to remote work. But I feel that it won't be just about safety, because when I think about it, even cafes have spread out tables. In fact, in cafes, people don't talk to each other. So in terms of interactions or in terms of exposure to other people, it's much less in cafes. So in that sense, cafes could be safer than co-working spaces. But then I think the choice would be based on where you are comfortable working from.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What about in Koh Tao?
Yeah, I'm also thinking about like same as two of them. We also need to provide the safety for as a working space, and also this time I'm attending another conference. It was like just beginning of coronavirus, but they talk belong to the community quite a lot. As a co-working industry, I was like, oh, okay. People started talking about the belong. The people try to get more freedom and they try to use it in a co-working space. But in these days, people started talking like belong to that community. And then after that, I came back to Tao, and some of them non-TAO HUB member, they ask and they need more information about the situation in this island, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I don't have time to take the non-members. So I was talking about, okay, it's our membership service. And of course, I give the information as much as I can. And you can get this information from this website. But I feel like our safety, it's also in heart, in mind as nomad to live in the other country. It's not the working space. You just be in the community of the co-working space, which you never get at coffee shop. And the community manager or the owner of the co-working space or old member, family member, all of us try to take care of each other. That is, people really understand in this situation, or people feel more lonely, people feel more suffer or fear, and they will need a co-working space, I think. Yeah, that is what we try to focus with. Like, it's not just giving the working space. It's not just only desk and chair. We care about you. How are you today? This is what we do. So yeah, if someone don't understand a coffee shop and a co-working space is different, and people start to think co-working is expensive, I really want to say, okay, just try one day. Or maybe you can keep using the coffee shop.
Yeah. And tell me, how did you keep the community active and engaged during the lockdown? Like, did you launch any virtual co-working initiative or some kind of like virtual programming? How did that go for you?
So we tried some webinars initiated by community members, some skill shares and all. But the engagement was pretty low because there are so many webinars right now.
Right.
Yeah. So I think right now we are just focusing on keeping the connect, just making sure that people don't forget us. And people do tell others about Nomad Hub. So that's all we can do right now.
In Koh Tao as well, like we can do some web now, or we can do some Facebook member and chatting and so on, but we just focus like the members' safety here, and we share the information and the closed membership Facebook page, and maybe people are not here, they still understand how to take care of the members if they stay with us. And honestly, I am like a Japanese women, so I don't really make them fun on the internet from Europe or something. They are more fun in the web now. So yeah, we don't really provide much much things for people not here. But yeah, today also we're gonna have pizza together, like less than 10 people, keep 2-meter distance. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I miss pizza. What about in Porto, Ruba?
Well, we did, I think, what a lot of spaces were doing, or most of the spaces. It's what Mayur told, the webinars. So we had two approaches. One is how to ensure that people are not going crazy at home, right?
Yeah.
And crazy with all the amount of information. That's why we launched more just social online time. So there is nothing of webinars or professional, grow yourself. No, just be yourself. Let's chat. Let's have a wine on a Friday afternoon as we used to. People were playing games and looking for like how to play this board game online. That was fun. And on the other hand, of course, we were also giving space for co-workers to keep their projects active and to present their ideas, whether it's a new project they want to have, or they have some insights about how to grow their marketing and advertising strategy during this coronavirus time. So they had a space for that. And also we were always available to, and on a weekly basis, we were sending new materials coming out from the government. We do have a lot of foreigners in our community. So yes, it's like advocates to really pass on the message, what is really happening, because all the newspapers, some of them were just not very good in transmitting the real message of what's going on. So that was a very big role for us. Yeah, as well as on the base of it all is one-on-one conversations, making sure, oh, hi, I know you, making sure that all people are safe and sound. It's one-on-one conversation. You just take some time and talk to your people. But whatever virtually we were planning to do would not result as good as now. For example, I know that my coworkers are having lunch together in a restaurant with all the safety measures. I couldn't join them, but I'm happy to see people coming back alive and to life and wanting to catch up together, because that's one of our core values.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And here is Pauline.
Guys, what a great conversation. I think I really enjoyed listening to all the stories, and I saw also like quite a few people were commenting on YouTube. Ruba, I think you have supporters also watching you. And cheerings from you. So Kriste says, lots of love, Ruba. Great job with all the work through the pandemics, missing the IOC side and all. So I think this is a great comment to show that, yes, digital nomads still love co-working and they still want to come and be part of it. So thank you so much to all of you. Sara, thank you so much for such a great moderation. We loved having you. People who are thinking about becoming digital nomads, please go check Hacker Paradise. Connect with Sara. She will take great care of you. And whenever you are in Goa, TAO or Porto, please go meet Mayur, Moe, and Ruba. Before I let you go, guys, let's take a selfie. You all know, or you might know, that I love selfies. I already have one with Ruba and Sara from the time we met, but I never had one with Mayur and Moe, so now is the time. Guys, give me your best smile. 3, 2, 1. I have it. Thank you so much. Clap for each other. I love
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wish you a nice end of the day wherever you are, and I really hope that soon enough we can travel and see each other all together and celebrate with a nice fresh beer or whichever drink we want to have.
Thank you so much, Pauline, for inviting and organizing this.
Bye.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.